This is the single most mask-off moment I've ever heard from any person ever from the bourgeois class. It is absolutely unreal.
We've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they...
We need to see pain in the economy. It's bad that our workers are getting paid too much for too little. So we need to have economic pain for the normals, right? We are the elite. We need the governments who are elected on our behalf to inflict pain on you, you peasants.
They work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a...
You are our bitch. Get back to where you belong, serfs. They act like feudal lords, the bourgeois. They really do.
Systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So,
but that is indeed a good thing, where employees get treated with respect because they have the power to go elsewhere. Maybe capital has just had a little bit too much of the pie for a little bit too long. But this is literally him saying, you should feel lucky for us. We are the job creators. We are the wealthy. You belong underneath this. It's the most blatant and obvious class war because he thinks that no one will see it, or he knows that people will see it and knows that no one will actually act on it. That it doesn't matter how many of the little people that this guy will explicitly say he thinks that he is better than in this speech, because he knows that no government will bother trying to stand up to him because they have the control, they have the power, they have the money. People who don't know who he is, he's a CEO of a property firm called Gurner Group.
It's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world...
Toys being thrown out of the pram. Central banks, do what I command. Do my bidding. Hurt the economy. Show these little chuckles where they belong. Take these people who I believe have an unwarranted sense of self-importance as workers. I want you as the central bank to take these people down a peg or two. I command the central banks to do what we want them to do. Because they know they have the control, they have the power. And that is why capitalism leads to these situations as a default. Absolutely, he's going in the catapult. Immediate trebucheting right now, today, in Minecraft.
He's trying to do, the governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are...
He loves hearing people getting laid off. Good. He wants to see people out on the streets. Let's see those layoffs. Let's see the unemployment rise. He's watching it and he's furiously at the unemployment figures rising, right? He's thinking about all the money that he was like Scrooge McDuck jumping into a pile of coins. These people are scum. They're vermin. They are less than human to me.
Definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue.
Arrogance in the employment market for daring to believe that your life has value other than increasing the dividend payouts to this guy's shareholders.
Because that will cascade across the cost balance.
Unreal. The most mask-off moment I've ever seen from one of these people. You can quote Capital all you want. You can read up on Marx. You can read Lenin and Engels. You can read the Little Red Book. You can read Graeber. You can teach this stuff to people until you're blue in the face reciting Eastern European literature at these people. You can do it forever until you're blue in the face. And none of it will get the message across than just telling people the words these people say when they think no one's watching. Just take this video, put it as a GIF, right? Put it on the front of Capital. People will get the drift. I think it'd be really interesting to see the emotional quotients of these people. To be this kind of libertarian brain, you basically have to be a sociopath to believe in the all-powerful god of the invisible hand of the market and to give no care for the externalities for the people who belong to the underclasses. You have to be a sociopath to believe in this. Only a sociopath could act like this and think that it was fine. You have to have no regard for the social contract, no regard for others, no regard for broader utility and broader human interest. Only a sociopath could act in this manner, and only a sociopath would be able to get up to this position in the first place, being a professional landlord. This is also the guy who originated the avocado toast meme. You are me crooked Q. Really? Millionaire tells millennials, if you want a house, stop buying avocado toast. Of course, a real estate mogul would say that. Well, actually, it's your discretionary spending and not indeed the massive acceleration in house prices and rents based upon the actual received wages of people in the economy because of NIMBYism and poor social housing and neoliberalism, right? Incredible, incredible. Real estate, people who get into real estate are just absolute subhumans, subhuman pieces of anybody you know that gets into professional real estate, they do not have a single human bone in their body. And I'm sorry, I will dehumanize these people every single day of the week. I will cross that line. I will cross that Rubicon. Avocados are 60p in Lidl. It's not expensive anyway. But again, this is agitprop. This is just agitprop for the media to use. Again, to try and draw people in, because they know these people aren't morons, right? They may be sociopaths, but they're not morons, right? They know that the prevailing consensus about how people look at the economy, in terms of economic philosophy, is that everyone gets paid their just desserts, right? The market decided therefore it's your just desserts, even though there's no actual philosophical reason as to why it would be, as far as wage setting is concerned. And if you're failing, it's always your fault. There is no systemic thing at play. The economy is never affected by policy as far as these people are concerned, because they know if you actually realised that the economy was shaped by policy, you'd push for change in policy. You'd push for change in housing policy. You'd want to see houses built. You'd want to see councils own houses. You'd want to see the real estate market decommodified so that these people can't make money off of nothing, of turning money into money and scalping people for their desperate need to not be homeless. He was literally on 60 Minutes about it. Jesus.
We are coming into a new reality where first home buyers, second home buyers, and a lot of people won't own a house in their lifetime. That is just the reality of where we're going. So
it's just a new reality because people like you lobby for policies that keeps it that way, because you know that it makes you wealthier, because you want to see the value of your property portfolio increase ad infinitum. Any change in policy to that would be negative to your business interests, but you don't care if people are homeless. You don't care if people can't own homes. You don't care if there's no class mobility for the working classes in these countries, right? You don't care at all because your bottom line is all that matters. And again, you have to be a sociopath to believe this.
So you think that young people have now got the prospect of never owning a home?
Absolutely, when you're spending $40 a day on smashed avocado and coffees and not working. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely the avocados and not indeed because the real estate market has been massively jacked up by speculators like this. And again, you look at the data. This is obviously UK data, not Australian data, so I can't comment on the veracity of his claims in regards to Australia, even though I'm pretty sure that I'm correct on this as well. Right? If you look at the UK, out for non-housing consumption, Gen Z are the lowest. They're lower than people who are retired, for fuck's sake. If you look at non-housing consumption, 18 to 25-year-olds spend less than people who are retired in this country. It's the first time ever. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Absolutely. When I had my first business when I was 19, I was in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning and I finished at 10:30 at night, and I did it 7 days a week, and I did it till I could afford my first home. And
what my parents did, they worked a normal job in normal hours and they bought a home. They didn't have to do all of this graft hard, it's all I did, nothing was ever circumstances or policies, hard graft on my own.
Neoliberalism.
King neoliberalism indeed. I'm so glad you donated their plows. King neoliberalism, damn straight.
Discussions around could I go out for breakfast or could I go out for dinner or whatever it was, I just worked.
So what you're saying is you're a bit more driven than some of the people in the current generation?
Look, I wouldn't say that they're not driven. I just think that the media and the current environment and lifestyle changes has definitely changed the next generation. I think it's very dangerous. I think it's dangerous for the economy, and I think it's definitely dangerous.
In danger for me allowing flack against myself, right? In danger of people using my words against me. What the fuck is going on with this forehead? What the hell is going on with this Brendan O'Neill on here? It's all personal things. It's also, are we living in a new reality now? It doesn't have to be the reality. Vote for policy that changes the reality. Who do you think sets the price of avocado and coffee? Why did he go to the gym? Maybe if he worked more, he could own a house younger.
Dangerous for their ambitions of owning property. And I think the problem with this generation is they want the 3-bedroom home in Malvern and Malvern East and Prahran and Alexandra and Sydney, and it's just not sustainable or realistic.
No, we want flats. Like literally some people just want to be able to own a flat near where they work. And or even basic housing is out of the price range for most people under the age of 45 in this country. Again, I can't comment on the Australian real estate market specifically, but given that all of these same canards, right, even down to the avocado toast itself is being used against British people as well, and the exact same reasons again is being used to obfuscate against the failures on policy that's led to this point. But he doesn't care about the failures in policy because they benefit him, so there has to be a scapegoat. And it has to be young people's own personal actions, even though we have the data showing they actually spend less on non-housing consumption. So they're not over-consuming, they're just underpaid and the houses are too expensive.
So what you're saying is our big cities, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane to a certain extent, are almost becoming like European cities, where people may rent for life simply because they can't afford to buy in those cities.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're almost there now. I mean, I think people are talking about a housing affordability crisis right now. You wait 2 or 3 years when the shock and awe of the last 12 months of no supply, prices are going to jump again and they're going to continue to move. The only thing that
Yes. What do you think led to no supply? Could that be policy that did that?
gives me a little bit of comfort is the fact that parents have inherited gigantic wealth. The baby boomers have gone and we have created this incredible wealth throughout the baby boomers. Everyone's talking about affordability and housing crises and unaffordability. The realistic fact is there is this incredible amount of wealth that has been created and is sitting with the baby boomers that will be passed down. There is going to be a transition of wealth in the next 20 to 30 years, which will see a lot of these people be able to buy their own home. But I think some sort of measure now, some sort of government incentive to encourage parents to be able to pass down money earlier, I think would be a great thing.
True. Basically, if you wanted to own a house, millennials, why didn't you just get rich parents? Why didn't you just get rich parents? It's a skill issue, clearly. If you wanted a house, you should have got yourself some rich parents. Incredible. What an absolute piece of absolute gigantic steaming dog turd this man is. Chairman Mao, we need you. We need you right now. Where is Chairman Mao when you need him? And Ho Chi Minh and all the others.